Commissioner Stark says the FCC is drifting well out of its lane in Chairman Carr's recent DEI investigation of Comcast. ABC owner Disney has rolled back on their DEI initiatives. The so-called Department of Government Efficiency releases some high-level statistics about the FCC. All that and more coming up.
REC, FCC Today, Peachy Bradley.
Bringing the Daily Digest to life, this is FCC Today, the podcast for Washington's birthday, February 17, 2025. As reported by the Radio Television Business Report, FCC Chairman Brendan Carr has sent a letter to NBC-UNIVERSAL's parent, Comcast, stating that the agency's Enforcement Bureau is opening an investigation into the media giant. Specifically, the Carr Enforcement Bureau is investigating Comcast for what they call promoting discrimination in violation of FCC regulations and civil rights law. Carr had stated that Comcast is continuing to engage in the promotion of diversity, equity, and inclusion, also known by its acronym DEI. Carr cites information on Comcast's website that promoting DEI is a core value of their business and that Comcast has an entire DEI infrastructure that includes DEI days and DEI training for company leaders. Carr's letter also cites numerous DEI initiatives at NBC-UNIVERSAL. Carr's letter goes on to state that promoting invidious forms of discrimination cannot be squared with any reasonable interpretation of federal law. Comcast did share a statement to various media companies acknowledging the receipt of the inquiry and will be cooperating with the FCC to answer their questions. Comcast further stated, quote, "For decades, our company has been built on a foundation of integrity and respect for all of our employees and customers." Last Wednesday, in response to the news about the investigation, FCC Commissioner Jeffrey Stark said, quote, "Then Commissioner Carr blasted the prior administration for acting in a way that gives the FCC a nearly limitless power to veto private sector decisions. From what I know, this enforcement action is out of our lane and out of our reach. I have asked for a briefing to understand the Enforcement Bureau's theory of the case, the authority relied upon, and any prior precedent. This action gives me grave concern," end quote. Another major FCC media licensee, the Walt Disney Corporation, licensee of the ABC-owned and operated TV stations, had announced their own rollback of DEI policies. WDW News Today, citing a report from National Public Radio, stated that in a report to investors, the company is removing references to a company program called Reimagine Tomorrow. The initiative highlighted Disney's efforts to showcase stories and talent from underrepresented communities. Last year, the conservative organization America First Legal filed a federal civil rights complaint against Disney for the Reimagine Tomorrow initiative. In their complaint, America First Legal claimed that race, color, religion, sex, or national origin are often the only motivation in Disney's hiring, and that Disney is intentionally discriminating against white American men, Christians, and Jews simply because of their race, sex, religion, and citizenship. Reports from Axios states that Disney will also be making changes to advisory messages that appear before certain classic titles such as Dumbo and Peter Pan, removing cautionary language about mistreatment of people in favor of using terms like stereotypes and negative depictions. It is also reported that the content advisories for the impacted titles will no longer show on screen on Disney Plus, but will instead show in the program's description. Digital equity in the eyes of REC Network's objectives is to assure that as many different types of groups are represented in radio, not just on the air, but in the boardroom, as well as reflected in the programming, as well as encouraging diverse participation in other non-broadcast spectrum services. Our perception of equity is to assure that majority and minority populations are treated equally and have the same opportunities. Digital equity equity is more than just race and gender, but also includes religion, including non-Christian faiths as well as those who choose not to practice religion, sexual orientation, gender identity and expression, preference of spoken language, socioeconomic status, disability, physical or otherwise, age, or other similar demographic factors. More information about REC's objectives can be found at recnet.com/objectives. Aside from the DEI-related news at the FCC, this past week had been very quiet at the agency. The Media Bureau has entered into a consent decree with One Media Incorporated, the licensee of KRZD-AM, Springfield, Missouri, as well as 3 FM stations in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. On April 14, 2022, Nancy Miller, holder of 80% of the company's stock, had passed away. Following her death, One Media failed to either notify the Bureau nor file a pro forma transfer of control to the estate. Instead, the licensee waited until September 10, 2024 to file a non-pro forma application to transfer control from the estate to William Watcher, who was originally the 20% minority shareholder. As part of the settlement, One Media will pay an $8,000 civil penalty. Under FCC policy, the agency should have been notified within 30 days of the death. And finally, regardless of where you stand on the United States DOGE Service Temporary Organization, commonly referred to as the Department of Government Efficiency, or just DOGE, the agency has established a new website at doge.gov. In the workforce section, it shows data from the Office of Personnel Management. According to the OPM data on the DOGE website, the Federal Communications Commission has 1,534 employees, earning a total of nearly $254 million in wages. The average FCC employee has been on the job for 16 years, is 51 years old, and makes $165,000 per year. Also, according to DOGE, there are over 5,100 sections of regulations related to the FCC, comprising of 2.25 million words. Now, there's a great conversation starter, I guess. The FCC will be closed on Monday, February 17, Washington's birthday, a federal holiday also known by others as President's Day. FCC Today, the podcast, is available at the Michelle Bradley YouTube channel. Please put a like on the video and please subscribe to the channel. The podcast is also available at recnet.com, fcc.today, Podbean, and many other places where you can get podcasts. For real-time updates on the Media Bureau, visit the website fcc.today. For assistance with FM, low or full power, please contact REC Networks at 202-621-2355 or on the web at recnet.com. FCC Today, the podcast, has been a production of REC Networks. I'm Michelle Bradley, SBE Certified Broadcast Technologist. Thanks for listening.